Pile 1, what is the soul contract with your mother? What I have for you is that your mother was meant to be an explosive or inconsistent love so that you would yearn for consistency and be drawn to someone who is reliable and dependable. So your mother was someone who she wasn't really capable of showing up for you and being there in the way that she should have been. You couldn't count on her. And there's also the word explosive came through. So she could have been someone with a temper or someone where you didn't know what you were going to get. And this happened so that it would put a yearning inside of you and a desire inside of you to feel a steady, dependable love. We tend to opt into situations that are the opposite of what we want to experience so that we can desire them and so we can move towards them. So your soul wanted to experience consistency. It wanted to experience love that is always there, that you can rely on, with someone that you can trust, a good person who's always going to show up for you and is always going to be there for you and never throw you off guard, not lose their temper and scream at you or anything like that. That's what your soul wanted to experience. And your mother was a person who you experienced as the opposite of that. So that when you have that reliable, dependable love, you will just so deeply appreciate it and feel it in a way that someone who had a reliable mother just wouldn't even realize. I also feel like she was that so that you could become someone yourself who is reliable and consistent. This is like earth-based energy. Like, people can count on you because you understand what it is to not have someone to count on or to have someone let you down. So you became someone who valued the specific trait, and in that you became that trait and you seek that trait out in other people, and you're going to be able to build such a solid foundation with another person. You're meant for a deeply stable love. And your mother, in her inconsistency, in her letting you down and disappointing you, in her possibly being explosive, in you getting sort of maybe a different mother on a different day, she acts one way and another way, that's what sparked this in you. You were meant to experience the opposite of it. So I have another row cards for you, but this is what the healed version of you looks like. And with this Three of Pentacles, this is someone that is really a team. This could even be more than just a relationship, but you really create a team where you do your part and the other person does their part, and no one does, everything. You're really going to be able to function so beautifully and get out of any sort of stuck situation or any sort of painful situation and move on to this incredible, Four of Cups in this deck is such a beautiful card. Lord of Blended Pleasure. It's a Cancer card. It's got all this water. All of the cups are completely full, and it's about reciprocity and both people having their cups full and keeping each other's cup full. And maybe one day, if your emotions, if your cup isn't quite as full, your emotions, you had a hard day, goes down, your partner, your person is going to be able to fill your cup back up, and then you can do the same. It's going to be an incredible, beautiful, stable love, and you guys are going to function so beautifully together and have each other so completely and always be able to count on each other. And the reason that this is going to come about is because of the desires that arose in you from experiencing the inconsistencies of your mother energy. So that's what your soul wanted to experience, and the contract between you and your mother and sort of where it leads. Hope it was helpful. Let me know what you thought down below. I'd really appreciate it. Pile 2, what is a soul contract with your mother? So what I have for you is that your mother was quite cold, dismissive, unapproving, or she just didn't care. Like you wanted her to care about you, or you wanted her to care about something that you were doing, or about a particular thing, and she just didn't care. And this was a part of the soul contract between you two, because it set up a dynamic where you're sort of, this is going to sound bad, but this is how I'm picturing it in my head. You're sort of lower than her, and you're like on your knees begging for approval, begging for love, begging for her to see you and love you and appreciate you. And that was the dynamic that your soul wanted to experience, because it was intended for you to be in the dynamic where you're like begging someone to love you, and when they don't, or it could even be that she just like doesn't care about your passion or something like that, and when she doesn't, it makes you turn inwards and find your own approval. This happened so that you can have a wound around worth. When our soul wants to experience something, they tend to come into an experience that creates the opposite, so that they can have like the full spectrum, and that they can really zero in on something that they truly desire. And you wanted your mother to see you as worthy and to value you. And when she didn't, it put the desire in you to be worthy and valued. And you being in a dynamic where you're sort of like on your knees, like, please see me, please, care about me. And if she doesn't, it's going to eventually make you turn inside of yourself and find your own worth and your own value. You were meant to be this 9 of Pentacles in a loving way. With the information that I was like bringing through, 9 of Pentacles is typically portrayed as a woman in her garden with everything that she needs. And it's a very sort of solo card. Like, this isn't a loving motherly card. So I feel like your mother was the 9 of Pentacles. She was a woman who was in her own energy and just didn't have time for someone else's energy. She wasn't motherly and nurturing. You are going to have the ability to be in the 9 of Pentacles energy, but with the Queen of Cups beside it. You are going to be able to embody this energy in a way that doesn't put anyone down and doesn't neglect anyone. You are going to find your own worth and your own value. You are going to fall in love with yourself. And when you do that, you will become the embodiment of this 9 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups energy. This is a loving, nurturing, yet independent and strong and fulfilled person. You're going to go from a position where you're sort of putting yourself beneath someone to standing up and finding your value and your worth. And when that happens, you're never going to be able to be put in this position again, where you're begging someone to care about you. Like, you were not meant to lack any confidence or to feel bad about yourself in any way. And you're going to be able to live a life where you are so certain and you feel and you love yourself and who you are so deeply that you're not dependent on other people to speak life into you. Like, there are people who go their whole lives and what other people say to them means more to them than anything, and that they need it and they feed off of it. You're going to have such a powerful energy of yourself, And you're going to love yourself and know yourself and truly value the person you are at the core, to the point where you don't need outside validation. And this isn't about being alone. It's about the opposite. When you value yourself, you then attract in people who value you as well. Person who values themselves doesn't spend time around people who don't. So it's going to unlock like a different way of life. You're going to be so confident and so in love with yourself in the most positive, wonderful way. And you're going to not be cold like her, but give love as well to people who deserve it and people who see your worth. And you're going to be surrounded by people who are going to value you, and they're going to want to be around you. And they're going to, I think a lot of them are probably going to look up to you, and you guys are just going to be together having fun and laughing and living your incredible lives. I have more cards for what the healed version of this soul contract is. And Four of Wands is like a rejoicing and having like a loving, wonderful, warm home. And then Death is transformation of this Seven of Cups energy. These are completely empty cups. Like these flowers are depressed and they're just falling, and there's no water in this card like there is for other cups. So there was such a drain and an emptiness. But when you embrace the Death card and you transform inside of you from someone who's begging to feel worthy through someone else's eyes to someone who finds the worth in your own self, it's gonna make this Four of Wands beautiful, warm, loving home. You're going to be surrounded by people who care about you because you care about yourself, and you wouldn't subject yourself to anything less. And if your mother doesn't approve or care, it doesn't matter to you, because you do, and the people who you will be around do as well. So that's what I have for you. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know what you thought down below. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Pile 3, what is the soul contract with your mother? What I'm getting for you is that your mother was cruel and not good to you. Maybe this was an isolated moment, or maybe this was much more prolonged, or even through your whole life, where she was kind of abusive to you and really cruel and damaging to you. And that was in your soul contract with her to happen so that it could push you deep into your sadness and into your trauma, so that you could learn to heal that and to transmute the pain into wisdom. So, if you weren't getting a loving, nurturing, compassionate connection with your mother, it was meant to push you into something like spirituality or psychology, some sort of healing. Like you were meant to go inwards and to transmute all of the pain and the sort of negative beliefs that she put into you, so that you can grow and blossom into this wise being who just has a much deeper understanding of life and relationships than other people. It'd be really hard for someone who is really loved by their mother to talk to someone who's in pain. But someone who had a mother who was cruel to them and transformed that into deeper wisdom of how people should be and how people function and what it is to live in a compassionate, love-based way. That person's going to be able to help so many more people. And that's what I see for you. This is contracted for you because there is something about your purpose where you need this wisdom. Like you will use the wisdom that you gain from healing these wounds, not from getting the wounds, but from healing them. Something about that is going to give you what you need to know for your job or maybe your home, or I even see for you like a world scale, like a huge scale. Your mother was this way because once you heal it, it's going to propel you into a career or a life path, a certain career or life path where you will need the wisdom that you gain from healing these wounds. And if you turn inwards, I don't know what part of the journey, some of you might not have started really healing, some of you might already be on the healing journey, but once you turn inwards and you find those like hurt inner children and you release that and turn this into wisdom, it's going to unfold your life path. And I have more cards about what this would be, this contract would be in the healed state. And you have King of Swords, Ace of Swords, Five of Cups. This is a really powerful, like, swords are about intelligence and wisdom and being really, this Ace of Swords card, I always think of like, it is about clarity, but I also think about connection with the higher self, like a very strong connection with the higher self, which does just tend to naturally happen as we heal our inner wounds and as we do like shadow work. And with this Five of Cups, like something about what the wisdom you gain from healing is going to help so many other people. You wanted, what your soul wanted was to have a mother that would propel you onto a certain career path. And that's why it happened the way that it did. Doesn't make it easier, but we tend to opt into negative situations so that we have a very strong desire to move towards the exact opposite in the positive direction. And I think you're going to become a being that embodies such a high level of love that no matter what it is this job or purpose is, it's going to just impact so many people, just seeing how you can live out of such a deep and incredible state of love. So that's all I have for you. I hope that was helpful. I would really appreciate it if you let me know what you thought down below. Thank you.